So to be really honest, I started Flagship because I started combing my hair. You know, coming into the hair market looking for things to comb my hair with, I found certain things worked for me, and that was things that came from the homebrew market. When I started doing that, I started realizing too that there was an opportunity within that to express myself creatively. And so as I started making products and seeing these things, I always saw what other people were doing and creating, but at the same time I saw that there was an opportunity for me to do it my own way. And that's really what started Flagship. There are a lot of brewers out there that are making their products, making these pomades and things like that, but I saw an opportunity for me to make products that were really what I wanted to achieve as a brand, and I did it my way. Flagship started in the year 2014. My wife and I just got married, and we were really trying to settle our feet down and get used to the married life. And so with that came extra expenses, things like that. But what I needed to do was find something that I could be creative in and really take the time to pour my heart into, and that's what I've been able to do with Flagship. We started, I started getting involved in groups like Everything Pomade on Facebook, and started really getting involved and checking all these things on social media, because before that I really didn't. And so once I started doing that, I started seeing some of these brands that I really had started close to around the same time as I had, but they were really huge inspirations for me. A few of them being like Lockhart's, O'Dudes, especially O'Dudes, Sheer Revival, Pomp's Not Dead, all those. So I started working on products like that. I originally made a oil-based, but to be very honest, that thing didn't last very long because it was not, I was trying to go a very natural route. I was trying to not use things like petroleum, trying not to use animal waxes, beeswax, and stuff like that. Not necessarily because I personally see anything against them, but I do know that certain consumers prefer to not have those in their products. Then out on the market started coming these things called unorthodox water-based pomades. Something that was an entirely new concept, I guess, at least in the niche market that home brewing is. And so whenever we saw that was something coming, started doing more research, started figuring out what would be needed to do that. But at the same time, when we did that, we were looking at what were some alternatives and ingredients to really make it stand alone and make it be its own strong product. And so we still offer this product, but the Insubmersible was our first really venture into the unorthodox water-based pomade realm. And it did well. It was, it had strong hold, things like that. But, it wasn't the epitome of what I wanted. It was something that was a happy accident, and it put us out there as having our own water base. But what came next was a tweaking and a refining to create one of our best-selling products now, which is Blackship. So Blackship, once again, has become one of our highest-selling products. It's been around for, honestly, I think we released it in 2015. And the thing that I love about Blackship is the fact that I have a product that stood out at the time, first off, as being strong, holding, really resilient in humidity and heat, which has made it a fantastic product for a lot of our Asian markets, South America, Australia, and that's what really set us apart, is we were able to provide something that some of the other brands were not. They were doing fantastic in their realm, but we wanted to give something that wasn't necessarily out there yet. And so Blackship provided that. And so even to this day, Blackship is one of my most enjoyable products to make. Originally, our entire purpose with our ingredients too was to keep our list small, and it was to provide very simple recipes. I guess simple would be the right word for it, that get straight to the point. Of course, Blackship is a water-based product, so primary ingredient in our Blackship is water. We use distilled water mainly to make sure that everything is nice and clean, sanitized. We make a point of sanitizing all of our stuff so that we don't have any of those possible issues that come along with using water in products. Then we use 2 different types of waxes. Next, we have Leela Wax, one of my favorite types, despite the cost. It's a very brittle, very hard wax, and what that does is it translates into the hair and giving you a slickness. It gives you also resilience throughout the day. It's one of those waxes that has a very high melt point, so it's something that does not fade or fall apart whenever you deal with the humidity and the heat, especially that we have down here in the South, Houston. So it's become that, along with using Castor Wax, which we call it hydrogenated castor oil because that's the process that it goes through. Once again, adds more hold, more strength, and really just locks in whatever style that you're going to put in. Once again, it has that high melt point, so you don't ever have to worry about it melting out of your hair. Then from there, we go to our oils. We use coconut oil, which, of course, coconut oil has so many different amazing properties for skin and hair. This is a pomade, of course, so it needs to have some slickness too. So for our pomade, using the coconut oil allows it to have that slickness, allows to moisturize the hair, allows to provide some conditioning so that whenever you wash out the product, it has a great feel to it. We also have grapeseed, which is another healthy hair oil in the sense that it's very lightweight. It provides this nourishment to the scalp and to the hair, and so that was also another kind of a no-brainer because it provides so many additional benefits when all put together with what else we used in there. Then we get to the things that make everything stick together, because that's the interesting thing with an unorthodox water-based. It's you're forcing water and oils to do something they don't naturally do. So that means that we use lecithin. Now, we use sunflower lecithin specifically because a lot of times soy lecithin, people can have allergies to soy. So using the sunflower had a lot less of that option, and nobody else was using it, to be very honest. So it seemed like the right type of choice with us trying to separate our brand. So we use that alongside borax. And as time has gone on, we've actually added sea salt to that mix too, for the fact that it allows us to have some good washout capability. It gives some cleansing to the skin and scalp, the minerals. We use sea salt from the Dead Sea. It's very coarse and very strong, a lot of minerals in it. And the borax, interestingly, is the reason why whenever you end up putting shampoo into your hair, it actually will rinse the product out because it acts as a detergent booster. And most shampoos that are actually detergents will allow it to come out. So that's where the washability factor comes in. A lot of people sometimes get a little bit worried about having borax in their products. The thing is making sure that you use the appropriate amount. First off, there's a confusion too between borax and boric acid, which that's not good to put in your hair or your skin. So big difference between those two things. But at the same time, it's mainly there to, once again, cause that binding. As long as you use the appropriate amount to get the job done, you have no health risks that come along with that. So moving on now to our fragrances. Originally we wanted to use essential oils, and that's still what our main scent is, our dark citrus rose. We make a blend of different essential oils. We use petitgrain, bergamot, and rosewood, which I feel it's one of my favorite scents. It's a very fresh, unique scent. Contrary to popular belief, it doesn't smell like roses, so not gonna smell like an old granny. But it's a very fresh scent. But we offer a plethora of different fragrances now. As time's gone on, we've wanted to provide opportunities for other people to enjoy the product. Some people have issues with fragrance oils. Some people have issues with essential oils. So on our site, we have upwards of at least 8 different fragrances at any given time, just so that everybody has an option. And then one of the final things that we use is a blend of 3 aromatic alcohols. A lot of companies use them as for preservatives. So that's our phenoxyethanol. We use sorbic acid and caprylyl glycol, which they are inhibitors to mold, fungus, yeast, all different things that could be really nasty. And so that gives us the ability to have a good shelf life despite it being a water-based product, Blackship. We also, of course, have black oxide. That's what gives Blackship at least its charcoal color. Gray to charcoal, just depends. Once again, it being a handmade product, that can be something that can be variable. So we wanted to make a product that was a darker color. Really wanted to make it black, to be very honest. And we know some other brands actually made a product called black, but you had issues with the coloring stain on your hands, stain your hair, all sorts of different things. And so we opted for a more natural option using black oxide, which is just filaments, the mica that honestly are very dark black, and they don't add any really coloring to the hair. They don't stain anything. They don't get on your hands because it's not actual coloring. It's just filaments, very tiny. One thing it does do is makes Blackship a little bit less shiny, and so that's where it gets more of that natural, neutral, low shine, depending on how much you apply, and the weather can affect that too. If it is hot, the oil may come out a little bit more. So that's why we use black oxide. So after looking at all those ingredients, those are, when put together, have created this heavy holding that can be debatable nowadays, because back in the day, heavy was firm, to be honest. So now we have this product that it's a heavy to firm hold, medium to low shine, just depending on situations. Really, it's more on the natural side, and it's really become iconic to us at Flagship. It's what we're known for. So what was great about Blackship, then being on the market and getting to all these different places all around the world, was that we were starting to really get noticed. And so we started then talking with individuals like the Pomp, James Bowie. And so whenever that started happening, we started going into the process of what could we make, what was the next new thing that we needed to create, what was going to be the new thing. And so what we started talking about is taking the same concept of having an orthodox water-based, but rather than it being a pomade so much, rather than having that slickness, can we provide texture? Can we provide something that's got the same benefits, like stylability, easy to wash out with shampoo, things like that, but then incorporate a looser style, a little bit more texture that you could run your fingers through, things like that. And so after we went back and forth, we started testing quite a bit using things like kaolin clay and bentonite, even going down the route of making an oil-based version. We were able to collaborate with the Pomp and make the Prelude. Prelude was probably one of the first, at least in the homebrew market, clays, water-based clays, in the sense that we were able to provide a more textured style, using kaolin to really give some fine texture, bentonite for some more rough texture, and provide a very strong, unique product, at least that time in the homebrew market. So once we went from that, that was selling well, I was like, well, I need something for my own line. I need something that's going to have these same benefits, but be, once again, refined. A similar story to what happened with Insubmersible Blackship. We had Insubmersible that, transitioned into Blackship, the more refined option. And so in this case, we had Prelude, and that's what gave birth to Dead Sea Clay.